Hello everyone, it's me again, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about why I think, at least in my opinion, fighting games are the best esport out there. Like, I know a lot of you probably don't watch esports, but I think you really should, at least in the fighting game genre, because I know I watch a lot of it. So basically today what I really want to talk to you guys about is how awesome fighting games can really be and why I think they're kind of one of the bigger esports out there. Like, I know there's Overwatch and CS:GO, but I think fighting games are the best. And since last week was actually Evo, which is like a big fighting game tournament thing, I thought I'd go ahead and post this video. I'm not really big on playing fighting games, but from what I played and from what I watched online about Evo and all the cool stuff that goes down there, I really think you guys should like give it a look. Honestly, I think fighting games are some of the most underrated games out there because as in story, they don't really have too much like making characters based around fighting. Most of it's like this type of tournament or something, or like if you go into Mortal Kombat, you're probably not going in for the story because honestly it makes no sense. The big cool lore about fighting games, even though they seem simple on the surface, they're extremely complex. It wasn't until I started watching Injustice 2 Evo events, like, I'm a big fan of Sonic Fox. Like, in my honest opinion, he's like the Michael Jordan of fighting games, or at least somewhere up there. But it wasn't until I started watching Injustice tournaments and seeing people like Sonic Fox play that I began to understand that fighting games have like certain things that you have to realize to get the full enjoyment out of them. First rule, and I mean this is extremely important when it comes to a fighting game, nothing's off the table. Most fighting games, well, if not all fighting games, are made with a lot of care and a lot of focus on the balance between characters and playstyles. So while some characters may be weaker than others, and while it may seem that one character is overpowered based on the character you choose, there's always, say, a counter pick or a way to get around someone's playstyle. For example, in the original Injustice, I used to play a Scorpion all the time. This was before I really knew what I was doing. And I had this chain where I would teleport, kick, and then I'd back three them into the wall and do a juggle combo. And it'd be kind of over and over again, but at weird times. And since the teleport kick is hard to block, since you have to block in the opposite direction and be able to see it coming, it's kind of a really hard thing to get over. So when most people played against me, I could beat them without really having much skill. Once I actually played someone with a different playstyle that kind of counteracted mine, I kind of realized how there is no one approach, one way to almost always win at a fighting game. Every single thing has its weakness. The teleport kick that I always used in the original Injustice, if you crouch, you can block it from both sides. So it doesn't matter if you see the teleport coming or not. If you're crouching beforehand, it doesn't matter. And one thing about the teleport kick, even though it seems overpowered at first, if you block it, it has a very, very slow recovery. So if you block it, you can really get your own combo going off of the block. So the person who originally beat me would crouch at all times, and then he'd continue to jump and hit X over and over again. It's hard to avoid, and even if you block it, you don't really get much from it. But one thing I didn't know is that along with being able to counter my teleport kick, there's also ways to counter other attacks. Things such as anti-airs, where you can knock people out of the air by attacking in an airward motion. So while I could have been countered, he could also have been countered. I didn't really realize that I wasn't really playing with any talent or with any understanding of the game. And that when it comes to fighting games, it's not just about being able to react fast, but it's also about knowing the game, the way the game works, all of that good stuff. When it comes to playing fighting games, one of the coolest things that you really have to learn to do is read your opponent, see what they like to do, their tendencies, the combos they usually use, and find ways to counteract that. And I think that's one of the coolest things about playing fighting games. It's kind of like, not only do you have to understand your own character, but you also have to understand the other character and the other person playing against you. And mind games work, everything's on the table, all that type of stuff. So it goes a lot deeper than the surface thing of just push buttons until the other person falls down. I think Injustice 2 does a very good job of like introducing you into all of these new gaming things that you never really run into before. If you play through like the 50 tutorials, not counting the character tutorials, there's like another 50 of those. You really kind of get a feel for how everything can be countered. What I like to think of is fighting games are almost like the world's most complex game of rock, paper, scissors. If someone chooses a certain character, you might want to counterpick. But if you counterpick, they could also counterpick your counterpick. What fighting games do is they force you to learn quickly. There's a lot of reading your opponent, a lot of like extreme thought that goes into it. You'd be surprised as to how smart, how quick you have to be able to pick up on other opponents' tendencies and how to counter when they pick up on your tendencies. How to have a playstyle that's unpredictable, yet predicting another person who's trying to have a playstyle that's unpredictable with another character that you may not know as well. The game isn't necessarily about playing through the story and getting to the end. It's about learning the characters, learning how to exploit them, learning how to counter their exploits, learning how to mess with other people's heads, learning how to read how they play. Sports are all people competing at something, a game, and you get to, when you watch people play professionally, you get to watch the best of the best go at it. And one of the things I really like about esports is it doesn't necessarily matter where you come from, how you are. Like in basketball, it matters how tall you are, how like naturally athletic you are, etc., etc. I've seen people make big plays in video games and they don't even have both their hands. So I think that one of the coolest things about esports is its accessibility. Almost anyone can get into it, almost anyone can really have fun with it and have fun learning to get good at it. You don't really have to be born a certain way to really be good at an esport. Not that that's bad, because seeing people who are naturally born almost as if they were made to play a certain sport is awesome too, but it's also not necessarily accessible. Like, I don't play basketball because I'm like 5'8.5". So if I went out and played basketball, I'm shorter than Isaiah Thomas. And I'm average height for a person. I think that's the whole thing that makes esports in general a really good thing for everyone to get into, everyone to try and play and get used to. No one's at a disadvantage to anyone else except by how they think about the game and how they play it. The reason that fighting games are so awesome is because you're capable of doing so much. The skill ceiling is so high, so when you get to see pros play it in comparison to you play it, or even if you don't play the game, when you see pros play these games, you see them do such incredible things. You see them pull off like unthinkable moves that require incredible precision and focus. And with an almost unlimited amount of games coming out for fighting games, it never gets old. There are more games, more playstyles, more characters that the people that you're fans of will use. And when both health bars start to drain, it gets really tense. And you get to see that. And I gotta admit, the commentators for fighting games are surprisingly good. Like, they'll explain everything out for you, and they get super hyped. So you know when to react and how to react to certain things. And I think that's one of the coolest things about it. There's so many cool things you can do with a fighting game. I mean, when it comes to sports, yeah, you get people who are about to break records, but it's not like you watch every single time someone plays a sport, because there's only so much you can do. In fighting games, the possibilities are basically endless. And when you see people do these things, you can go back home and try and do it yourself. If you have the game, you can watch their playstyle and mimic it, and you can reap the benefits of doing so. So just seeing these people find new ways to exploit games that come out on a regular basis is pretty awesome. I'll put some links in the description to videos that I like that might help you get into the fighting stuff if this video convinced you of anything. and I hope you enjoy.